Dining etiquette in the United States is slowly starting to become more and more obsolete as time goes by. A survey was conducted by the National Center on Addiction and Substance Abuse at Columbia University, and it revealed that only 58% of children ages 12 to 17 had dinner with their families 5 nights a week. In the United States of America, families are often finding it difficult to find time to get their families to have a sit-down dinner. A lot of parents are having to work extra hours, their kids are in school, they're involved in sports, extracurricular activities such as FCCLA, FBLA, FFA, and other clubs and organizations they can be involved in throughout school. With the fast food industry growing, it is becoming more common for families to buy fast food and have their families eat dinner that way instead of having a sit-down meal prepared at home. The problem with this is there's no etiquette involved when eating fast food. Most of the time, families are sitting down in front of the TV when they have fast food. There's no real etiquette or manners involved when you're eating fast food in front of the television. In Jamaica, dining etiquette shows that you are responsible, respectable, and reputable. There are a few interesting aspects about the dining etiquette and experiences in Jamaica. I've always wanted to travel to Jamaica, and I thought this would be an excellent opportunity to do some research on some of the culture and background in Jamaica. There are some differences from the United States that Jamaica has, but there are also some similarities. I would like to share with you 3 interesting aspects about the dining etiquette in Jamaica. Number 1 is the utensils and how you hold them, such as your fork and spoon and knife. Number 2 is the seating arrangement, such as who sits where and when you sit, and so on. Number 3 is dining at home like you are dining with your family. I'll first start off by talking about how you are supposed to hold your utensils and in which hand you're supposed to hold them. Typically in the United States, it depends on if you're left-handed or right-handed. Depends on what hand you hold your spoon or fork in, because you use your dominant hand to feed yourself, obviously. Well, in Jamaica, the knife goes in the right hand and the fork goes in the left hand, no matter what your dominant hand is. You also have to use the fork in your left hand. So if you're left-handed like me, then it doesn't really make much of a difference. But if you're right-handed, then it might be a little bit more difficult to be able to eat. After the meal, the knife and fork are laid parallel on the right side of the plate. In America, I don't really think there is any etiquette on how you lay your silverware down after you're done with your meal. If your utensils are laid down, it indicates to the waitstaff that you are finished with your meal and your plate is ready to be taken away. When you're not holding your utensils, your hands are expected to be in your lap, not up on the table or have your elbows on the table or anything like that. Now that I've given a background on proper use of utensils in Jamaica, I'll now move on to the proper etiquette on seating. The protocol for the seating arrangement in the Jamaican culture is you do not sit until you are invited or when you're told where to sit. The most important guest of the dinner or lunch sits to the right of the host. Meals are often buffet style, and I believe in the United States of America, they're more often plated dinners at sit-down restaurants such as Applebee's or Red Robin, just to name a few. It's considered polite to finish everything on your plate, even if you don't actually like everything on your plate. Now that I've talked about the protocol involved while eating in Jamaica, I'll now talk about proper etiquette for dining at home with your family. While you are dining at home, you don't leave the table at any time. And if you are to leave the table, you have to be asked to be excused, similar to in the United States, where it's proper etiquette to ask your parents to please be excused. You also allow your elders to enter the room before you, and the women also enter the room before the men. To wrap things up, I found out that dining time has some interesting aspects compared to that in the United States. Jamaica seems to be a lot more formal than we are in the United States, as the United States starts to move more towards the fast food industry rather than sit down meals, because a lot of families are just really busy. The fork is held in the left hand, the knife is held in the right hand. It doesn't matter if you are left or right handed. When you're finished, the knife and fork are laid parallel on the right side of the plate to indicate that you are done eating. The protocol during dining is you do not sit until you are told where to sit. The most important guest always sits to the right of the host, and the dinners are most often served buffet style. When you're dining at home, you should not leave the table at any time. You should allow your elders to enter the room before you, as well as the women enter the room and eat before men. If you're traveling from the United States to Jamaica, the proper dining etiquette would be a good thing to know. If you do not have proper dining etiquette, it communicates that you are being disrespectful. Nonverbal communicators such as having your elbows on the table, not having your hands on your lap when you are not holding your utensils, or not finishing everything on your plate can be misconstrued as you being disrespectful. You should always view other cultures with an open mind to try and avoid culture shock. When traveling, tourists should do background research on various aspects of that country's culture before traveling so they're not conveyed as disrespectful or so they do not do something wrong.